Hello everyone, myself Priyanka, and today we are back again in this channel to complete our further lectures. As we discussed earlier in our lecture, that we'll be starting today a new topic, right? In our previous lectures, we have already completed the very first topic of UPSC's Polities Paper 1, right? Today we'll be starting with a new topic, and our topic is Theory of Justice. So without wasting much of our time, let's start it, right? What actually do we understand by the term justice? By the term justice, we all understand that everyone, in practical sense, we all understand whenever every individual in our society is availing equal resources, right? Where the distribution of resources, allocation of resources in our society is just, right? They are actually distributed in such a way that everyone is actually enjoying it. Everyone has an equal share of the resources available in our society. That is the exact meaning of the justice that we understand. Now, we need to understand some things about justice that very good, like obviously when we say equal distribution of the resources available in our society, quite fancy of a concept, but do we actually implement it? Do we actually experience it? So now what we need to understand about justice is whether justice is actually being implemented in our society. Are we actually experiencing it? If not, what are the impediments on its way? How can we achieve it? How can we make our society just? And which are those societies in which the concept of justice is actually applicable? Okay. So the very first thing where we learn about the application of the term justice is we can imagine if there is any kind of authoritarian type of society. Okay. In an authoritarian kind of society, we rest our power of decision making in the hands of the rulers and the citizens have no say on it. Rather we could say there are no citizens, there are subjects. Okay, so in a society where there is a ruler and the subject, we cannot expect justice to prevail in that kind of society. Now why we can't expect? Because if at all we feel that the rulers are not just with us, its behavior is unjust, can we raise our voice? And if at all we raises our voice, will the ruler be affected by it? No, they will not. Because ultimately after certain years, we are not going to elect them, right? We will not elect them. They are not dependent on our votes. They do not fear the subjects that they can throw them away from their power. We cannot, right? We cannot throw them off their seats. So, in an authoritarian kind of society, we do not talk of the concept of justice. Everything is dependent on the mercy of the rulers out there, kings out there, queens out there. Now, so where can we say that justice, the concept of justice could be talked about? Let's think of a society where if you are not treated in a just manner, you can raise your voice and you can make an impact by raising your voice. What impact can you make? You can make an impact of removing the authority from their position, taking away their power. How can we take away their power? By not voting them. We will not vote them. They will not remain in the power anymore, right? We'll change the government. We have the scope of correction. Now, where the scope of correction comes from? This scope of correction, the power of correcting our mistake comes in a democratic society, or we can say in an open society. What is an open society? An open society is something where the citizens are free to raise their voices, where the citizens are free to criticize the government, criticize the authorities, right? And file a complaint against each other if they feel they are not just with themselves. Now, this was the case of an authoritarian kind of society. Now imagine a communist society. In a communist society, what is a communist society? Where every resource is allocated on the basis of the needs of the people, needs of the population. So imagine a society where everything is distributed in a just manner, right? Why at all will we need the concept of justice there? Justice is already there. There's no injustice being done to people out there. So why will we need the theory of justice? Why will we talk of justice? Everyone is happy and satisfied, right? Because everyone is getting an equal share of the resources they have in the society. So again, now we have learned that this application of the concept of justice could prevail only in an open society. Okay? Hope this is clear to everyone. Now, what more do we need to know about justice? We need to understand this was the practical implication of the justice in any society. Now we need to understand what justice actually means in the philosophical context, right? In a philosophical term, how can we describe justice? What is justice? What your moral, what your ethics says about justice? This is the philosophical context of justice. Now, let's think, can we say justice is something called good? Like if we are doing good to someone, can we say we are doing justice to them, or we are doing justice to the society? Or if we are doing bad to someone, or if something bad is done to someone, can we say that is an injustice and this is a justice? No, we cannot say this. Why? Because good and bad is a quantitative concept. That means something that is good for me might not be good for you, and something that is good for you might not be good for me. Right? So good and bad is a concept of morality and ethics, and everyone has their own sphere of ethics. So good and bad, we cannot describe this as justice and injustice. Then what is justice or injustice? So justice is something that is universal to all. If I am telling that this is the meaning of justice, everyone should be satisfied with it. Everyone should be happy with it. No one should be in loss. No one should be deprived of anything. So, how do we define justice in philosophical context? So, justice is something called right. Okay? When it is right, it is never partially right, or it is never partially wrong. It is either right or it is either wrong. Okay? So good can be partially good and partially bad for some people, right? But this right and wrong have no partial concepts. So here we can say that the philosophical context or the philosophical meaning of justice is something being done right, in a right form, in a right way, okay? And being right to someone, being true to someone. This is justice, okay? We can understand this with the help of an example. For example, if we are aware of the concept of utilitarianism given by Jeremy Bentham. Now Jeremy Bentham says, he proposes a theory of utilitarianism where he says that in a society what should matter is maximum happiness of the maximum number. That is the concept of good and bad. That is quantitative. He talks of the happiness of the majority, survival of the fittest, right? Darwin's theory is somewhat relatable to it. So he talks of that if majority people are happy with some kind of concept, that concept should be applied or implemented in that type of society. But if anyone, few people are unsatisfied with it, few people are unhappy with it, that's not an issue. Let them be unhappy. That's what Jeremy Bentham talks about. Now that's not justice, that's injustice, that's an unjust society. But we have several concepts that actually promotes injustices in our society. It has its own critiques also. Now that was an example. Jeremy Bentham's utilitarianism theory was an example of an injustice done in any society. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Now, what else do we need to understand about the term justice? That justice is a dynamic theory. It's a dynamic idea. What do we mean by dynamic? Dynamic is something that keeps on changing frequently, right? What do we understand by this? That justice is a dynamic idea. By this we can say that what is justice today, okay, what is the concept of justice today might not be a concept of justice tomorrow. For example, slavery system was justified in our old ages. In our ancient times, slavery system was justified. Everyone used to practice it legally, freely, right? the evolution of our consciousness, we have actually banned the concept of slavery, right? We have ignored it, avoided it. So we have declared it illegal. Now people do not practice this slavery system legally. Okay. Also, domination of women. Women as an inferior status was very general in previous society, and no one used to raise their voice against it. Very few. It was not a concept of justice in previous days. But today we talk very broadly and frankly about the term feminism that actually depicts the evolution of our consciousness. So by this example, we can understand that justice is a very dynamic concept and it changes with the need of the hour. Okay, as per our evolution of the consciousness, how much we develop ourselves with our cognitive development, we actually develop and evolve the concept of justice for all of us. Okay, so till now what we studied about the definition. Okay, definition of justice. Then we came to know what is the application of justice, that is in which kind of society we can talk of the concept of the justice. Then we learned there that in an open society, okay, in an open society there is application of justice, right? Then we came to know about what is the philosophical meaning or the philosophical definition of a justice. Okay, so we also learned about the philosophical context of the concept of justice. Then we came to know about how justice is a dynamic idea. Okay. Dynamic character of the justice. These are the topics that we have covered till now. Now we need to understand one more very important thing about the justice. These are basically the introduction of justice. Okay, when we understand introduction, then we'll be further discussing about the different theories, different ideologies of the political scientists that they have proposed about justice. There are varieties of it. The main that we have to read is about John Rawls' theory of justice. Okay, we'll be dealing about everyone's ideologies. Now, every important thinker's ideologies. Before that, we need to understand one more very important topic, that is the relation between justice, liberty and equality. Okay, when we understand that, I think it will be very easy for us to understand the theories and ideologies of different political thinkers. Okay. What we need to understand? A very important topic, that is relation between liberty, equality and justice. Okay. Now, Ernest Barker, a political thinker, in his book Principles of Social and Political Theory, mentioned a very beautiful line, that is, justice is like a thread that is running along the concept of liberty and equality, right, and making it complete, giving it meaning. So Ernest Barker actually mentioned that liberty and equality cannot be practiced without the concept of justice. We'll see how. Okay, we'll see how. What is the meaning of liberty? Liberty means, by the term liberty, we mean freedom, right? no restrictions. Okay, but Ernest Barker says, if every person, every individual of a society has liberty to do whatever they wish, liberty to do whatever they wish, definitely they will be harming others' liberty. So here, what kind of liberty do we practice in our society? There are two kinds of liberty, positive liberty and negative liberty. Positive liberty means freedom without any restrictions. Negative liberty means freedoms, you can practice freedom until and unless you're not harming the liberty of other, not harming the freedom of other. That means freedom along with certain necessary restriction is known as negative liberty. Now in our society we practice the negative liberty. Now this concept of negative liberty comes from our acceptance of the just behavior to other people. Right? If we are powerful, if I and you are powerful, we can easily dominate other people who are less powerful. We can do that, but we do not prefer to do that. Right? Justice is something that is practiced socially, but that is given by the political orders. Right? The political authorities actually make justice available, make justice prevail in any society. And those political actors work on our demands, work on our ideologies, the ideologies that we want in our society to prevail. We vote for them, right? If we agree with their ideology. And any government's ideology is very much related to their society's ideologies. Okay. So, here we see that if we are practicing liberty, freedom, without actually recalling the concept of justice in our mind, everyone will not be able to practice or experience the concept of liberty. Okay? This liberty will not be uniform and universal. It will be restricted, it will be, constricted only to specific individual. Right? Everyone will not be able to enjoy this liberty. So here again, I hope this concept is clear that we cannot practice liberty without the concept of justice in our mind. Keeping the concept of justice in our mind, right? Next, let's imagine that in our society, we swear to practice equality. We swear to practice equality. Now, can there be equality without liberty? Can there be equality without liberty? No. If everyone do not have the freedom with necessary restrictions, can there be equality at any cost? No. If some people would not like to share equally their resources, want to capture everything by themselves, they can definitely do it. If every individual do not have the equal freedom given by the Constitution. So again, this liberty is dependent on justice, equality is dependent on liberty. Similar way, just like liberty cannot be practiced without the concept of equality, the concept of equality cannot be practiced without the concept of liberty. If we do not have freedom, we will not be equal. We have freedom and hence we are equal. We are equal and hence we have freedom. Both goes vice versa. They are interdependent. Right? Just like liberty is dependent on equality and equality is dependent on liberty, equality is even further dependent on the concept of fraternity. Right? Fraternity means brotherhood. If we do not have a feeling of brotherhood with our netizens, with our co-citizens, we can say that we will, most of the time, will not be self-controlled to practice justice, to practice equality, to practice liberty. Right? So I hope this entire relation of liberty, equality and justice is clear. Right? That liberty, equality and justice are not a dichotomy. It's not, a dichotomy means something which are poles apart of each other, right? Which are the two banks of the river. It's interconnected, right? It's a continuum. It's interconnected. Liberty cannot be practiced without equality. Equality cannot be practiced without liberty. And liberty again cannot be practiced without the concept of justice. I hope this entire theory is clear, and then in our next lecture we will be covering about Plato's theory of justice, Aristotle's theory of justice, and then John Rawls' theory of justice. Okay.